Shazil? Shazil, are all the speakers in?
Very good morning. All the speakers are in, and also we are waiting for our respected speakers from Tunisia. They will be joining us shortly.
Sorry?
We're waiting for the speaker from Tunisia. Rest all are in.
Dr. Kamel?
Dr. Kamel and also Dr. Hitesh Patel from United Kingdom. So he'll be joining us shortly.
They are in touch with you?
Yes, we have communicated over email, and we have also sent a reminder just a few minutes back.
All right. Then in that case, I think we've reached a final cap here. I will now start. Namaskar. I'm Dr. Rupa Vasudevan. I am the Chancellor of Bharati Engineering, Science and Technology Innovation University, the state private university from Andhra Pradesh. And I also represent as the global chair of World Forum for Education, a huge round on behalf of our faculties, our students, staff of BESTIU University and World Forum for Education, to all our esteemed speakers who are present here today, taken time from their busy schedules and come in for the cause of education and for the future of education. I would like to also mention specially the chairman of Bharati Engineering, Shri Bharatlal Meena, and the senior advisor of Best Innovation University, Shri Manmohan Singh Ji, also joined in with a dignitary from Indonesia, Dr. Ayla Al-Jufri, who represents the World Women Leading Change, a forum which has more than 3 women from across the globe. They are the sister organization to our own World Forum for Education. A little bit about what the university does. Bharati Engineering, Science and Technology Innovation University is set up at Anantapur, Andhra Pradesh. It was set up with a vision of creating a social world-class conglomerate where learning is accessible, where learning is affordable, and where innovators are groomed. We have Bharati Engineering as our formal structure of education where we train our students in different degrees and post-graduation courses. Other than that, we have another arm of promoting knowledge, which is the World Forum for Education. World Forum for Education is the arm of Best Innovation University, which was set up basically to promote knowledge from all strata of the society, from any nation, from any individual who contributes through his knowledge in a meaningful way to the society. We are all here joining hands for the new technology turnaround that we have seen in the past 3 months of COVID-19 crisis and the lockdown. We are now moving towards a completely technology-mediated education system where online learning is not just a library of books, e-books, presentations, PPTs in PDF formats. It's much more than that, where we are looking at contextual content. We're moving towards a society which is probably the version 4 for India, which is completely digitally dominated, and whereby we would like suggestions coming in on best practices for assessments, for
I think Dr. Rupa Vasudevanji's internet has some connectivity issues. We should be connecting back to her shortly. Apologies for the
I'm sorry, the parents of online dynamics. So yes, I would like to now introduce our webinar speakers today. We have Shri M.M. Naik ji, who is a Commissioner of Higher Education and Technical Education from Andhra Pradesh. Hearty welcome to you, sir. We have Dr. Rifki of Field. She's a scientist and working in the Dead Sea and Araha Science Center from Israel. We have Srimati Vijayalakshmi Vijay Kumar. She is the Director, Center for Soft Power from Karnataka. We have Dr. Kamel Ghazouani, economist from the IHEC, Carthage, Tunisia. We have Hitesh Patel, CEO of Wilden HR and Payroll Solutions, United Kingdom. We have Dr. Devi Erna Premawati. She is the CEO of and founder of Coin from Indonesia. We have Shazil Ahmed, the CTO of M-Pace from Karnataka. This is the part 4 in the series from part 1 to part 10. All the part 1 to part 4 series delved on discussions with the vice chancellors and academicians from across the globe on their perspectives to digital pedagogies. This time in part 5 and part 5 onwards, we will have intervention from industry IT leaders who are doing phenomenal work to contribute to the education fraternity, making the digital learning more robust and meaningful for the students. So we have a few today in part 5. We will have some more in part 6, although they are also joined in by academicians who will give their perspective from the implementation point of view with the students. Now I pass on the baton to our Vice Chancellor, Dr. D.L. Maheshwar, who will lead you through the event and who will be the moderator for the session. Thank you very much and welcome one and all.
Thank you, Madam. Namaskar to all the speakers and guests. The program highlights have been enlightened by our Chancellor, Dr. Rupa Vasudevan. Thanks, Madam, for having set the floor for this today's webinar. And as rightly indicated by the Honorable Chancellor, we are now at the 4th part of the webinar series. In our earliest 3 webinar series with the educationalists, we are so optimistic to gather their insights and inputs for the opportunities where the technologies could be adopted for the education front. In this regard, we are now at a phase where we should not wait for something to be fine-tuned. Let us go ahead with the adoption of technology. With this, today we have a galaxy of experts. They are the experts in the educational, technological experts. Now the experts will be enlightening us perhaps on the relevance of the technology for enhancing the learning issues, also to know the mechanisms of the technological interventions where the adoption could be of a higher order and better order, and also what are the means and measures to overcome the caste and culture and the educational environment with the technological intervention. So with these expectations and with these aspirations, may I request the today's speakers to participate in this program. Well, I have a few general instructions to all the speakers and the viewers of this program. I request all the viewers to switch off their microphones and videos and The time scheduled for each of the speaker is 10 minutes, just 10 minutes. So at the end of 9th minute, I'll be showing a placard so that it indicates for you to close in 1 minute. So with this, now we will take up this today's webinar, and as scheduled, it goes with the first speaker is Sri M.M. Naik. Let me have the privilege of briefing the M.M. Naik's service IAS officer in the Andhra Pradesh government, and he has served in various capacities like Municipal Commissioner of Warangal. He was the Joint Collector of Khammam, and he was the Collector of Vizianagaram, and he was also a chairman of the Southern Power Distribution, and he was a Commissioner for Excise also. Presently, he is working as Commissioner for Higher Education and Technical Education in Andhra Pradesh. Now, may I request Sri M.M. Naik Saab to take over to deliver your experts on this webinar.
Very good morning, Maheshwar ji, for a kind introduction about me. Good morning to all the respected dignitaries in this webinar, and especially my mentor and Sir Manmohan Singh sir. Regarding today's webinar, which has given the topic is that technology adoption in education during the COVID times. So we all well aware that during the COVID pandemic situation, the entire Andhra Pradesh higher education sector has left over certain aspects, certain academic calendar issues are there. So most of the nearly 15 universities are there in Andhra Pradesh, and at the same time, there are about 151 government degree colleges and 147 aided colleges are there, and 1400 private degree colleges are there. All these colleges, they are left over with the 15 to 20 days of the academic curriculum. So how to overcome to complete this academic curriculum is one of the important aspects is before us. So immediately our education minister has convened a meeting with all of us. So we thought that we can go for the digital like online sessions to all the students. So massively we went for the a kind of campaigning, and we involved most of our lecturers and students also to come into the online fora. So I think this is one of the opportunity given to us to connect most of the students through the online classes. So I can proudly say that in 30 days, in first 30 days from March 15 to more or less April 30th, nearly 45 days, we have conducted nearly 1 lakh sessions, online sessions with the students. Nearly, I can say it varies 40,000 to 1 lakh students connected every day through our online classes. So that means this is one of the opportunity we have taken over during this pandemic situations, so that how the technology can be evolved into the transforming the a kind of giving reaching to the students. So by taking this scenario, now we have to think over how by using technology now before us that how to go about it. That is one of the important aspects before all of us. So for which I can say here few aspects are there, few limitations are also there in the government sector, how to reach the students by effectively adopting the technology. So I can say that now at presently we are totally with a situation that instructor-led situation. That means a classroom face-to-face kind of situation we are at present. Now we have to shift over to the, that means online classes means we have to shift over to the learner-led kind of situation. So that means a kind of digital and self-paced kind of situation. So a fine-tuning has to be there, because for example, sudden switch over from the classroom to the online kind of thing may pose certain issues, quality issues, and academic point of issues will be there. So how to address those things, we have to now think over. It is one of the critical aspect. The academicians has to work on it, and they should make that a qualitative digital online kind of thing has to be emerged in future. Then only this online classes and online content will become successful. That is one of the point I want to highlight here. The another thing is that the content quality is very, very important. For example, we know that in most of the classes, we are giving regular faculty development and training programs to our faculty to improve the quality in the classrooms. So in the similar way, in online classes, preparing the digital courses, the content quality is the very, very important that has to be taken care. So not only content quality and design, its proper delivery, and at the same time creating an interest in the students to listen the classes, and at the same time to achieve the better outcomes. These are the important components we should think over while designing our online courses. That is one of the important aspects recently we perceived. And at the same time, now one more thing I can say here is that a flipped classroom method also in future may emerge. This is because in online classes, because content will be given earlier to the student so that he can go through the whatever the content the lecture is going to be delivered. So the student may go through it, and immediately when session starts, so the student can pose the questions to the lecturer so that a enriched discussion may happen in the classroom. This is the one of the marked thing we can say in the digital online kind of classes it may have. So in online platforms, not only a kind of regular classes, but now we are seeing a lot of seminars, webinars, and faculty development programs. A lot of things are happening. Really, it is now we are witnessing all these things at present. So now this is a really great age have gone through. So now in these situations, we are thinking that, so what are the challenges we are having? For example, in digital to achieve the online classes, whatever the technology upgradation, technology adoption in future, so there are certain challenges are there. So most of the thing, while we are going through this online classes to all our students, so most of the students are from the poor background. So we all know that in Indian scenario, so smartphones or laptops, only 20 to 30% students are having. Remaining students are not having. That is one of the bottleneck we have to overcome in future. And at the same time, what is the bandwidth issues are there? Sometimes internet kind of issues has to be sorted out. So these are the issues. For example, in interior and tribal areas, to deliver a lecture and reaching to the students in the interior areas is the one of the questionable thing we have to overcome, because the real needy people are there. So reaching the lessons to them is the more important aspect we have to achieve. So we have to address that issue. Then only real meaningful achievement of this online class and technology will happen. Similarly, one more aspect we have to see is that most of the faculty members, so they are recruited before 15 to 20 years back. So because now I can say that 30 to 40 faculty members, 30 to 40% of the faculty members are not so proactive to adopt the new technology. So as we see that when computer came to emerge in a bigger manner in the 80s or 70s, 80s, the similar kind of how employees reacted to the computers, the similar kind of situation is happening with the teaching faculty also. So we have to convince them, and at the same time we have to give continuous training programs to our faculty member, so they can effectively deliver the digital classes to the students. That is one of the things we have to address. And at the same time, the emotions and the perceptions of the faculty member varies from person to person. For example, in usage of the technology, their experience may be different. So the emotional emotions in saying and expressing the things are also various. So these are also things we have to taken care of. And one more thing I can say here is that our education department, higher education department, is effectively utilizing the learning management systems. So at present we are having nearly 1,000 classes which was videographed by which was lectured by our lecturers, and they put in our portal. So now since 1 year we are promoting to our students that please go through these learning management classes, so that they can see the video films and they can enrich it in better manner. So similar kind of LMS platform has to be widened, and a more number of videographs in effective manner. I can say here is that the LMS is the one of the platform best utilized, but at the same time, if it is not a effective video, the student will not get any interest. That is the one of the important thing we have to address at present. Why I am saying is that in YouTube also a lot of lectures are available, but at the same time all the lectures has to be properly segregated and fine-tuned. Which are the best lectures are really useful for the students has to be congregated at one place and has to be given to the students. That is one of the aspects now we have to address in this technological era. And more or less, and one more thing here is that now a lot of online courses are coming. So now courses and whatever the content, standardization, all these things has to happen. That means empowerment of the faculty, those who are going to deliver these classes, online classes, and standardization of the content. So these are the important parameters. UGC or some important platform or agency has to think over in future, because we all know that once upon a time distance learning has been happened widely in the years of the 90s, since 90 onwards. The similar kind of situation now coming for the online kind of classes. A separate university or agency has to come forward from government side. They have to become as a role model for all other remaining universities, all other remaining such kind of universities, those who are delivering the online content. So this is one of my point. Ultimately, at the end, I can say that so now at present, online courses are emerging in future. They are also, it is the reality. So my opinion is that a potent mix of both the online and offline. If you do both of them in a proper mixing of it, so really we can deliver, and we can deliver effective content, and we can build up effective curriculum. So this is from my side. So really I am once again thankful to the BEST University for giving this opportunity to participate in this program, and especially I am thankful to the Manmohan Singh sir for giving this opportunity to interact with all the BEST University faculty members and students. Once again, I am giving my all the best to the BEST University in future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your practically proven things you have enlightened us in your state.
Thank you,
that
sir.
too under your leadership. So it's a very enlightenment for all of us to take a note that the faculty development program has to be intensified, and you also highlighted about the hybrid system. Well, from the traditional to the technological front, maybe how to think into these type of options. Thank you for your time. Thank you for valuable insights, Dr. Nayak Saab. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, now we'll move on to the next speaker is Dr. Rivika Afir. Dr. Rivika Afir is a scientist from Dead Sea and Arava Science Center, Israel. Presently, she's working as senior researcher of Dead Sea and Arava Science Center at Israel. She has over 97 research articles to her credit, and she's currently working on desert plant as a source of new leads for drugs. So that's a very interesting subject. Then she's also right now she has screened more than an ample number of desert plant for extraction of the phytohormones, phytochemicals for human disease. Now I will request Dr. Rivika Afir to take over the session, please.
Thank you very much for inviting me to lecture. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So
Yes.
I'm going to speak about more like holistic point of view about the IT and the technology. Myself, I live in the desert, so it's very familiar for me to be isolated and to need to be in contact. On the other hand, I live in a very, very warm community. So I think that the balance between achieving better technology and don't forgetting the human being is very, very important. And as such, I'm going to give my opinion how I experience myself this Zoom area, and I find that it is very instructive in many ways. I have also an in the Ben-Gurion University, and basically Ben-Gurion University is a very profound, have many courses online even before the Corona time. And I know that thousands of students are joining, for example, a course like the environmental protection and sustainability course. And the president of the university really do it very effectively in many other areas. And myself, I am a scientist, I am a mother and grandmother, and I'm going to bring some aspect of how this IT can be helpful. And I will start with a very interesting area that I was involved in. It's called the drug bank. The drug bank took the opportunity to basically do this type of interaction together and bring the issue of how you really have new ways to look for drug. And this was with people all over the world because of this type of Zoom or other method of interaction. As a grandmother, I found that I wanted to give some education to my grandchildren. So I wonderfully found that there are many good scientists that develop courses for young children to become future scientists, either in robotic or other creative area. And I basically asked my daughter to register, and her son really joined this type of courses. And I had this opportunity to understand that education can be streaming from scientists to kids, even if they are only 6 years old, and makes them very, very attractive. So I think this is a good way to build them into this region of technology and not force them. So it become like nature for them. And after just before the Corona crisis, I was in my first spiritual trip in India. and I must admit that I become attracted to this area. And from then, I realized that I'm sitting sometimes 2 hours, sometimes 1 hour, either in meditation or talks with people all over the world, speaking about how being quiet or listening can help the human being to be more educated and to share knowledge. So I find this a magnificent platform to really connect with people all over the world. And I don't feel like, never mind, I can't fly, but I can meet people. On the other hand, when I go to my lab, I need also to do some exercise. So I decided I can use this Zoom to do Feldenkrais. It's a kind of exercise, and I can do it in my lab. So I just go to walk in the lab, and then 1 hour out of it, I am doing my exercise according through the Zoom. And on the other hand, I wanted some more artistic or knowledge. So I registered to an art tour to Holland, because there is a nice suggestion to meet the painter and to learn about the philosophy of art in Holland, even though I'm sitting here at home in the desert of Israel. It means I was opened to, because education for me is not only to be a scientist or to do better in science. Education to me is to be a more well-broad person in various areas. And I think that this technology, and as long as it will be more developed into something is more attractive, it can make us an educated people that are broad mind and not only narrow mind, because we are really concentrated on what we like to know, what we like to do, where we want to be expert. So my experience just let me understand that this technology, if it will be implemented in a right way, don't forget the human being, don't forget the connection, don't forget the talking with the students, person to person, I think it is a very, very effective way. I don't have any knowledge in how to make it better, but I know that in each area, we have enough people in the world that know how to make it better and more attractive. For example, last week I had to mentor my PhD student before she gave her seminar, the last seminar for the PhD thesis. So we basically sat together and discussed her PowerPoint, and I gave her the instructions and the changes that need to be made, and we didn't felt like something we missed something. So I know that as I learn, we need to be not only oriented to one side of just technology and IT. We need always to keep the balance between being people together and better technology. Because I think the technology meant for the student that they need to be interested. Suddenly we ask the student, we don't force them, but we give them the opportunity to be interested in something. And you don't create this type of student if you don't start from really early in kindergarten even. So like to be curious and to want to know better on the topics that you are interested in is something that is education for me, is to start very, very early. Of course, the university itself needs to be cooperate with it, but we need to think about education, in my mind, very, very early and to concentrate it. So I think your university can be a good example how to implement these things from young to old. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, madam. Thank you. Especially your personal experiences relating with the technology you have experienced. So it is not that you are in desert. You made the desert a green patch with the technology. We are extremely happy to know that you have translated the technology. You want to convert this desert thinking to evergreen thinking. Thank you, madam. And we also know your concern of the technology should initiate from the early ages to the older ages. Yes, age is not a bar for all this technology adoption. Thanks for such a very novel insight that technology is the one which is going to transform the learning part. Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
Yeah. Now we have the other speaker, Madam Vijayalakshmi Vijay Kumar. Vijayalakshmi Vijay Kumar is a very familiar personality to our university, and Madam is presently the director for Center for Soft Power in Karnataka, and she is also the founder secretary for Heritage Parampara Trust. And to her pride, she has conducted 2 novel festivals like Gudiya Sambrama and Shishti Sambrama. And to her personality, she has flown powerful aircrafts. She has represented the national level and state level sports in softball. She's also a Bharatanatyam artist, and currently Madam is into promotion of these historical events led with this Earth series. We are so fortunate to have you, Madam, with the rich experience in the domain of Center for Soft Power, where you can able to translate this technology in education front. We are keen to hear you, Madam. Thank you, Madam.
Namaskar, and I thank Dr. Rupa Vasudevan for having invited me to speak today. At first I felt and I wondered what I was doing in the middle of this august set of speakers who are going to keep speaking about technology and their scientists, and here I come from a very art background. But what I have found is unfortunately, the arts are all sidelined. And so I thought maybe this is a good forum for me to speak. I would like to, make a statement or, throw a question open. Where, what is it that is the most important activity in educational institutions today? It looks to me like it is only academics. And every student is expected to either score 85 or 90%. And after the college or school, when they go home or, when they get off the computer, which is, still something that's in front of them, because it's, now it's all shifted to the IT. They have projects, and then the summers, again, they have internships and they have projects. When exactly do they have time for the arts, for life skills, for fitness, and even age-specific enjoyment? Now, when we are planning and, the lockdown has forced us to bring more of the education online, we really have to very seriously think about making our children not just academically experts at academics, but they should also be healthy. They should also have a heart, and they should also have simple enjoyment in life. Because everybody that I speak to now is telling me that, oh, now that the lockdown is there, and now that things have gone online, I have less time than I ever had before. And we all know the problems of sitting at a computer and working at a computer, because you hardly move anything save for your fingers. And this is something we really have to think about. A few years ago, I was taking value education. It was several years ago, in fact. I was taking value education classes at a school. And the higher the classes went, the more the complaints came. So I think it was the 10th grade I was speaking to, and they all complained to me and said that all their art classes, their music classes, and their physical education classes had been taken away for maths and science and the social sciences. So I asked them, how many weeks is it since you even went out and looked at the sky? It was a few months. I said, come, let's go out and play. No, ma'am. I said, no, I want to go out and play. They thought, I was upset at them. I said, no, I also want to play. So I was playing basketball with them. And I knew what would happen. The next day I was called to the dean's office and I was asked, what on earth were you doing, in a value education class instead of taking class? Why were you playing? I said, well, I had a practical class. I was teaching them strategic thinking. I was talking to them about compassion and about teamwork, just to name a few. With the present education system, we are creating a generation of academic achievers with no health. I can't say no health, but not such great health, very little emotion and heart, and a lack of good communication skills. What art gives to a society or a community is intangible. It nurtures the heart. So if a community lacks heart, we are not going to have a community at all. There is going to be hardly any relationship. There isn't going to be the feeling of, I need to do something for my community. Especially during COVID times, this is something that we all have to identify, that if that humane side of a human being is not there, just imagine how the world would be. So art is what gives the heart. Art is what gives compassion. Art gives a community responsibility. And it also gives a feeling of a national spirit. And to add to it, art is what gives mental focus. And it makes the mind available for other learning. If we want to go into greater detail, we can do that. I think I have a couple of minutes. Music is filled with maths. Dance is filled, classical dance is filled with movement, with applied physics, if that's how we want to look at it. And the journey into culinary arts is medicine and chemistry, weights and measures, flavors and fragrances, besides, of course, the spiritual side of healing, which both the chef and the person who eats feels. Reading books and theater helps with communication skills and boosts confidence. Now I've seen one thing with a lot of students, they lack communication skills. They may have the knowledge, but they don't know how to put that knowledge across to you, to express themselves. So, a simple thing like weaving, I was just thinking about weaving. I mean, all of us think that craft is, what's the big deal about craft? If you take the art of weaving, it's a journey into physics, chemistry, and maths and designing. Adjusting those looms is an act of physics. If you don't do applied physics, you're not going to be able to do it. Why I'm saying this is because the educationist does not look at arts as an education. And now coming to the online, the situation today. Certainly, the arts education can become something that happens online, but of course, it has to be face-to-face. That's the ideal situation. Many people have already gone online teaching performing arts or visual arts or, several aspects of arts online. Everybody knows about the culinary arts that's there. People are crazy about those channels. But of course, face-to-face is the best. But having said all this, I still think that when education is going to go majorly online, you must see that you put in time for, even yoga, do a yoga class online. So children get up and there is movement. You can have a music class online. So these are all things that I think must be incorporated. So having said this, I hope that, all the educationists here, we even have a commissioner of education considers that, this is a very important